Hey YouTube, welcome back to another video. So, going back on what we are doing, we are tackling these three wonderful women here. We did Gnosis Dahlia, we did Regina, and we did Iota's breakdowns, and we're going into the showcases. So the first things first, I'm going to show you the showcase of, not this one, of Regina. And this is the team I'm currently using for Grand Calamari. I am using Gnosis Dahlia for this one. Realistically, you just use whatever your big DPS is. Gnosis Dahlia is my big DPS, so that's what I'm using. This is the team comp I'm using. I like this team comp a lot, just because this team comp does get a lot of stuff done. They're very stable in what they do. They're very consistent. I don't have to worry about a lot. And this is why. So this first, god damn, I keep forgetting to mute my phone. Hold on, let me do this right now. It keeps going off in the middle of recording these. I'm sure you guys noticed from the last one. This team is very consistent. I like this a lot. They get a lot of stuff done. Wish that would actually target the other one, but as long as she kills, then we're fine. Cool. Calamari is a boss that I struggled with for a while, and a lot of people think that you need Akari for it, and you don't. You don't really need Akari for it. This team works pretty well. I do kind of brute force it a little bit, but that's alright. You can brute force stuff. You definitely do want to inflict reduced defense first thing, because it's just going to help you in the long run. And Gnosis Nella, with her unbuffable, is really, really strong against this boss, because he does a lot of buffing himself. Like right there, he would have buffed himself because he just used Deep Sea Might. It would have increased attack speed and critical hit chance to him, and we don't really want to deal with that. I'm going to reinstate that. And then I use Gnosis Nella to pop my chains. I like using Regina last, and I like using Gnosis Nella first, and the reason why is because she does fixed damage, which is why I like using her first. She does the fixed damage, and breaking isn't really a problem because you're going to get a lot of break chances throughout this fight. You'll get a good amount of break chances where that bonus doesn't really matter too much. And the only reason why we're bringing Meva is because Meva allows us to attack a couple extra times with our big hitters of Gnosis Dahlia and Regina here. That's the only reason why we do it. And look, we can do this again already. I'm just going to fire it and let it go. I don't really care. This boss is kind of a joke once you actually kind of figure out how he works, which took me a little bit. I didn't quite understand how he worked, so it took me a little bit. He's broken now. We get to go again. Yeah, he's kind of a joke once you have a good team comp to take him on. He just kind of gets stepped on. I'm not gonna lie. It also doesn't hurt that Gnosis Dahlia is kind of crazy. But this is kind of what I mean. Like, you can throw Gnosis Dahlia on most teams and she just does really, really well because she just hits like a fucking train. Like, there's not really a need for me to worry because Dahlia just hits, like, does so much damage. I mean, Regina does some pretty good damage too, but it's just because she's, she has element advantage, and she also has she just naturally hits really hard. So, she just naturally hits really fucking hard. Once again, he would have buffed himself, but we stopped it because we added the unbuffable. And then after this should actually kill him here, I think. Oh, nope, just a little off. And he's dead. Just like that. Super simple, super easy. I mean, I got hit like, what, once? Twice, maybe? I took 2 attacks from this guy. And this is stage 13. This is the hard one. I struggle with a couple of these 13s. just because I do tend to struggle with these ones a little bit more, just because they require you to have more min-maxed characters than I have. I don't have as many min-max characters as I would like to, unfortunately. But I can make it work. So, anyways, this is this. We're gonna do everything that we did before. It's just repetitive. It is the same kind of pattern. I am sure I will genuinely be doing the same things every time. For the most part, I mean, the bursts might be a little different, just because he does have a higher, he has a higher weakness gauge. So the burst might just be a little different. There he goes, hitting everybody. He actually crit on Dahlia, which is not good for him. When he crits on Dahlia, he tends to get hit pretty hard back. But yeah, this is, like I said, this is a pretty straightforward. All the bosses, I'm going to be honest, are pretty straightforward. They have little tricks that are hard to figure out, but once you figure out the boss's tricks, then you're fine. And that's what I struggled with. I didn't know what his gimmick was and how to work around it. Once I got some help and I was like, hey, I talked to a couple guys in the general server, in the community server, and then on a little group that I have, we figured out that this was kind of the easiest way to work around the boss. It makes it a lot easier once you kind of figure out how to work around it. Also, his weakness gauge lies. He doesn't take all of the weakness gauge damage he should because of Gnosis Dahlia. Gnosis Dahlia loses out on, I think, a point or two, which isn't too big of a deal, realistically, because you just can still do that. You miss out on like a point, which doesn't matter too much in the grand scheme of it all. But I might actually 3-star it right now, which is kind of nice. I tried it a little bit beforehand, and I only could 2-star this. And that's just because I am gonna do the reduced defense right now. That might come back to bite me in the ass, but it depends on if he gets another turn or not. If he doesn't get to have another turn, then I'll be fine. Which is kind of what I'm banking on. I'm banking on him not having another turn. So anyway, what I was saying before is that once you kind of figure out their gimmick and you figure out their trick, it becomes a lot easier to kind of work with, because it's like it's their Achilles heel. Once you find their Achilles heel, you can capitalize on it, and all of a sudden you're wiping out the bosses like they're just jokes. They're just jokes to you at that point. And as long as Regina, there you go. Easy 3-star. And Gnosis Dahlia, MVP, even though she had, I mean, look at that, 132,000, and then Regina had 98,000. Like, Gnosis Dahlia, crazy amounts of damage. This is why I wasn't sure about even doing a showcase video for her, because she is like the Swiss Army knife of DPS. You put her on basically any team that needs a DPS, and she goes crazy. And just like that, that is genuinely how easy that fight is. But, like I said before, I'm not bagging on you guys being like, oh, it's so easy, you should do this. No, figure out what that weakness is and capitalize on it. I showed you the team that I just used. I use this team. This is what my Dahlia looks like. This is what my Regina looks like. My Regina is awful. This is what my Gnosis Nella looks like. And you can also replace it with Iota realistically, but you don't get the unbuffable. And that's why we have Regina. In case the unbuffable doesn't apply, you bring Regina, and Regina's the show must go on removes all the buffs, and it's on pretty good cooldown. And then you bring Mavo just to give extra attacks for everybody. There you go. Like, it's, once you figure out how the boss works, you guys will do fine. I guarantee it. Once you guys figure out how the bosses work, you guys will do fine. You guys got this. I believe in you. And if you need help, don't be afraid to ask other people. The community server is a pretty good place to ask some questions. Everyone might kind of... Some of the moderators are kind of a little mean because they'll be like, oh, it's really simple. But you just tell them that you're new and they kind of, oh, okay, my bad. They're pretty good about it. But with that, I'll leave this one here. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys found this entertaining and enjoyable. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.